Thank you, Alina, for your kind introduction. And thank you, Gloria Labib, for your inspiring stories of resiliency. I also want to thank all of our funders, supporters, and Judge Katzmann's clerks for joining us this evening. A special thanks to our 5 fellows who worked with Labib for a number of years. And last but not least, IJC staff and our board members. I met the Honorable Judge Robert A. Katzmann nearly 15 years ago when he delivered a Martin lecture at the City Bar in New York titled The Legal Profession and the Unmet Needs of the Immigrant Poor. I felt my heart racing as I listened to him humanize the immigrant clients I served. I was inspired by his family's immigration history, his incredible humility, and his quiet persuasion that all lawyers help meet the present legal needs of the immigrant poor. Judge Katzmann's lecture galvanized the New York immigrant community, and he led a study group to rigorously study the root cause of the representation crisis and find a solution to the problem. His study group determined that the immigration representation crisis is a crisis both of quality and quantity. It is the acute shortage of competent attorneys and advocates willing to represent individuals in removal proceedings. In 2014, Judge Katzmann created Immigrant Justice Corps, a 2-year fellowship program with a financial support from the Robin Hood Foundation, JPB Foundation, and other philanthropists. That year, the number of immigrants in deportation proceedings nationwide was 344,000, double the number when he gave his Martin lecture. Today, there are 1.6 million immigrants in proceedings. That is larger than the population of Philadelphia, the 6th largest city in the United States. More than 750,000 cannot afford counsel. At this pace, the number of immigrants in removal proceedings could reach 2 million by the end of 2022. Immigration law is very complex. Yet, unlike criminal or family court proceedings, there is no right to counsel in deportation proceedings. Legal representation makes a dramatic difference. 70% of immigrants in proceedings with counsel have successful outcomes. Without counsel, only 17% have successful outcomes. Detained immigrants without counsel succeed only 2% of the time. Judge Katzmann realized in 2014 that what was at stake was not just legal representation, but the rule of law, the future of the American experiment, and who we want to be as a nation. Described as groundbreaking by the New York Times, Immigrant Justice Corps focuses exclusively on the problem of shortage of quality lawyers and advocates to solve the immigration representation crisis. IJC provides a lifeline for free, high-quality representation by tapping into the national spirit of service by law school and college graduates with a demonstrated passion for social justice. To address the supply and demand deficit, IJC recruits, trains, and mentors 35 talented law school and college graduates every year and pair them with leading non-for-profits to represent low-income immigrants. Together with fellows and not-for-profits, IJC represents access to justice, hope for the future, and the courage to stand up for immigrants' rights. Our impact has been transformational. Started in New York City, we've expanded to 11 states. Our success rate is 90%. Remember, the success rate without representation is just 17%. Just imagine what we could do if we are able to scale IJC's proven blueprint to keep more families together. The first fellowship of its kind in the nation, many of our fellows have lived experience as immigrants or children of immigrants and have the language and cultural competencies and skills to work with the communities they serve. Our fellows are not just the best and brightest, they are incredibly committed to public service and immigrant rights. A remarkable 98% complete their 2-year fellowship. Our fellows are paid a salary and receive benefits during their 2-year fellowship. We are funded by philanthropy, and the investment continues to grow even after our fellows graduate from the fellowship program. We've graduated 150 lawyers. 90% have secured employment in the immigration field. As staff attorneys, supervising attorneys, clinical staff at immigration law clinics, and in policy positions. Many of our college graduates have enrolled in law school, and we currently have 3 college graduate fellows who've returned to the fellowship as lawyers. Our impact is systemic. For example, we've expanded the capacity of more than 40 legal services and community-based organizations to take on more cases for representation. We are going about this systematically. In 2018, we launched an Access to Counsel project on Long Island to address an unprecedented need for representation of hundreds of unaccompanied children and families from Central America. In 3 years, our fellows have built a robust removal defense infrastructure at our host organization in Hempstead, New York, led by an IJC alum. I worked with Judge Katzmann for more than a decade to raise awareness about the crisis of representation and to find solutions to close the representation gap. This work is deeply personal. I know firsthand how this country offers immigrants new opportunities, safety, and freedom. I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa, and came to the United States with a visa and overstayed. I know how it feels to be undocumented. I was always looking behind me, afraid of being arrested and deported. I was lucky to receive assistance from a lawyer. It was an incredible feeling to finally get a green card and to pursue my American dream. My goal since then has been to pay forward this opportunity to all immigrants who need representation and cannot afford counsel. It breaks my heart when I go to court and see unaccompanied children and families without counsel, trying to navigate the complex and unfair immigration system alone. It's so unfortunate that Judge Katzmann passed away too soon. Every day, I remember our conversations, and I miss him sorely. However, I'm inspired by the resiliency of our clients and the passion and promise of our fellows. We are committed to carry on Judge Katzmann's work and to realize his vision. In more than 20 years of practice, I've never felt a sense of purpose and urgency as at this moment. That is why IJC, with support from Judge Katzmann's family, is launching the Robert A. Katzmann Legacy Fund to raise $15 million to aggressively accelerate the pace of access to counsel for poor immigrants, to work with partners to advance for humane immigration policies and overhaul the unfair and complex immigration system. Succeeding with this 3-year campaign will allow IJC to substantially increase the number of fellows in the field and place fellows across the entire country. Invest in research and data collection to enable us to build the evidence base to demonstrate that universal representation creates conditions for justice and dignity for all immigrants. To unlock government funding to support our pipeline building efforts. Our campaign is audacious. No immigrant should face an immigration judge without a lawyer, especially when the risk is deportation. Our southwest border and the plight of terrified children, families, and asylum seekers comes to mind. Think of the thousands of immigrants in detention for civil immigration violations all over the United States. They all need legal assistance to pursue viable claims, but cannot get it because there is no right to counsel. Judge Katzmann taught us that we can make the impossible possible only if we try. So far, we've raised $4.2 million in commitments and pledges. We must raise $10.8 million more. Thank you to those who have given generously. To reach our goal, we're encouraging multi-year gifts and welcome matching gifts as well. I sincerely hope that today is the beginning of a relationship with anyone on this webinar who would want to help us carry forward Judge Katzmann's legacy. If you'd like to build a relationship with IJC and be a major partner, please connect with me directly. You all should have received a commitment form and information on how to donate to the Legacy Fund in your email boxes. We've just dropped those forms in the chat. You can donate to the Robert A. Katzmann Legacy Fund in several ways. You can complete the commitment form and email it to the address at the bottom, info@justicecorps.org, and we will follow up with you. You can also donate online on our website, and we've provided a QR code for those who would want to donate online now. The QR code is on your screen right now. You can scan it with your phone, and it will take you to our donation page. You can also send your donation by check or by wire transfer. Representation saves lives, keeps families together, allows breadwinners to continue to provide for their families, and keeps children out of foster care. Ultimately, it is about our humanity and who we want to be as a nation. I'm just so honored that we can do this work together in honor of Judge Robert A. Katzmann. Thank you so much.